perfect community is where joy meets progress. I found mine.
Prom key.
A perfect community is where joy meets progress.
Where premium speaks at every nook and corner.
With great connectivity is a value addition.
I found mine.
Where state-of-the-art infrastructure meets world-class amenities.
Where on-time delivery happens always. Where quality truly matters. With great connectivity is a value addition.
Where a great rental is a benefit.
A perfect community where my family is secure.
I found mine.
I found mine. I found mine.
I found mine.
I found mine.
I found mine.
I found mine.
Prom key. Your key to happiness is a benefit.
A perfect community where my family is secure.
I found mine.
I found mine. I found mine.
I found mine.
I found mine.
I found mine.
I found mine.
Prom key. Your key to happiness is a benefit.
A perfect community where my family is secure.
I found mine.
I found mine. I found mine.
I found mine.
I found mine.
I found mine.
I found mine.
Prom key. Your key to happiness is a benefit.
I found mine.
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 Your key to happiness is a benefit.
Hello. Hello, mic test. 1, 2, 3. వస్తుందా?
I now request Professor A. Sridharraj sir to come and introduce everyone.
afternoon, everybody. Now, I take the privilege of introducing our guest speakers who are on the panel of discussing about the circular economy and its impact in the future. And as a part of that, we'll be discussing about how to recycle and reuse the waste and how to ensure the building of sustainable business development models. Okay, I'll start with the left. So he's Mr. Subbarao. Yeah, he's Mr. Subbarao. Okay, I'll take only names. Why? Because the logic is they'll introduce themselves in a better manner. And then we have Abdul on the extreme left, and on my right we have Miss Anita, then Gunaranjan, and Mr. Professor Surendra Reddy. Yeah. So I request now Mr. Abdul to introduce himself about his activities, and something about his occupation.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Hello, this is Abdul. I'm founder of Allika. We make handicrafts from water hyacinth. It's aquatic weed. So we train rural women in making these products. So I also have a couple of other companies into waste management, tech companies. So I also work at Atal Incubation Center, IIIT Hyderabad. So where we support tech-based social enterprises across the country. So this is a short intro. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Subbarao. I'm here today representing Hyderabad Angels, where we basically invest in early stage startups, not ideas, but startups which have come to a certain traction, proof of concept, and they are at least in some early revenue stages. Part of those startups also include companies in the circular economy. But background, my own, I am a chemical engineer by education, alumnus of IIT Bombay. I've worked long years before, almost you can say 2.5 decades. I worked with, earlier years were all with Procter & Gamble. And then later I went on to have leadership roles in Bharti Airtel and Tata Docomo. Before I started on my own, I did a small startup in circular economy, which was to do with refurbished computers, which had some measure of success, but I exited early because I got a profit opportunity. And then I went on to do other things. Aside of being associated with startups, I'm also an adjunct faculty. I teach digital marketing and social cybernetics. I recently completed my FPM program. Thank you.
Wonderful. Nice. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations.
Hi. Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay. Hi, my name is Anita Hariharan, and my company is called Club Artisan. And what we do is we work with artisans, craft clusters, and NGOs, and we help connect them to markets. So we are in the livelihood space. We've created an e-commerce platform for them, and as well as we do bulk gifting for corporates, weddings, etc. So that's really about my business. A little bit about myself. I used to work for Amazon before this, and prior to that I did my MBA in marketing as well as my MBA in HR from Tata Institute of Social Sciences. And I've been in the corporate sector for 20 years before I started my own thing. So that's a little bit about myself. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Gunaranjan. I represent a company called Green Sense Sustainability. It's an enterprise that's into waste management and sustainability initiatives. I've been raising money, deploying it to look at startups and maybe mid-sized companies in waste as well as sustainability. It could be anything related to reduce, reuse, and recycle. So been in the space since 2013, and seeing that there is enough traction that has built up in the last decade about this. Thank you.
Good afternoon, IPNs. I am the first alumnus of this esteemed institute. I graduated from IPA in the year 1978. None of you were born then, I guess. So I did my MTech in Industrial Management from IIT Madras. I've been a banker for more than 2 decades. I was General Manager with IDBI. Presently, I am associated with Administrative Staff College of India as a visiting professor and also as advisor to their energy management group. I am also an independent director in India's largest waste management company, that is Ramki. And I've been participating in successive Startupedia. I'm happy to be present at this 11th edition of Startupedia. I find star in it, I find IPE in it, I find idea in it. Okay? And ideas are our diyas, so I'm sure this discussion on circular economy and sustainability will be of immense value to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So before we begin the panel discussion, let me share some of my thoughts on reusing and recycling. I still remember, I used to make the students take a pledge not to use plastic covers. Okay, so I was sharing with Miss Anita that whenever I buy a book on Amazon, I'm worried that I'm adding one plastic cover to the planet. Every time I go to a shop, every time I buy a gift to the guest speakers of the training programs, they give so nicely packed with bubble wrap or that one, this one, so much tape, so much colorful things. So where do these things go at the end of the day? Into landfills? Maybe or may not be. I've seen lot of small lakes, lot of ponds, lot of streams, water streams are filled with these plastic covers and wastage which we are generating every day. Now, do we have a solution for that? Maybe yes, maybe no, depending on the mindset with which probably we approach this problem of recycle and reuse. So let me ask Mr. Abdul about his success story as an entrepreneur of how he has come across those things wherein he has helped the entrepreneurs and startups to reuse, recycle the waste and help in the circular economy.
Sure. So there is one of our startup called Unbubble. So they are into this sustainable packaging. You can Google them, unbubble.com. So they make foam packaging, and they also they replace this bubble wrap packaging with a small peanut kind of thing, which is made from agriculture waste. So that is one of the sustainable way of packaging and reusing. At AIC, we support this all this tech-based startup. So with my startup, Allika, we wanted to reduce the all the plastic and in the gifting sector also. So we make sustainable handicrafts. So we used to make chappals also. We used to supply to all the resorts and everything. We made a lot of innovation. So we used to make friendship bands with water hyacinth. So we used to make rakhis with water hyacinth. So water hyacinth, it grows within a month in the whole water body, and in irrigation canals it goes up to kilometers. So we simply, government spends crores of rupees across the world only to remove and throw it out. So there has been many innovations to kill it, but somehow it's sustaining. So that's the way of sustaining we used to adopt. But what we do is we simply dry the stem, make the products out of water hyacinth. We reuse leaves and roots for the composting. So we use the agriculture compost for roots and leaves. So that's one way of we addressing the problems. So I hand over it.
Thank you, Abdul. Thank you very much. Now, I wanted to buy a car, and I said we'll go for a second-hand car based on the economics and financial position of mine. My son said, no, no second-hand car. I said, why? You don't have to travel long distances out of Hyderabad. They make it dirty, the earlier owners, so I don't want to buy. So our mindset towards the things which are refurbished, renovated, probably doesn't sync with our Indian customs and whatever. We want everything brand new. Wow. So nowadays the unboxing has come. So we want something brand new. Now, given this mindset of the Indians, sir, I would like to request you, what is the mindset of Indians towards refurbished goods? Instead of using, probably we are just throwing them away. Can you throw some light on those perspectives of the Indian mindset?
Sure. Thanks a lot. See, I don't think the Indian mindset, per se is any different from the global mindset or any other place. The issues are the same. Most people, if they are buying something, they would obviously like to have a good user experience. And the user experience starts right from the time of your purchase till you get the purchase home and you start using it. You want that whole journey to be absolutely, wonderful. Just like when you bought a new computer, you want the whole unboxing experience. So refurbished is while it has got a tag, there has to be a lot more investment in marketing that has to happen across to educate the mindset that the word refurbished doesn't mean second hand. The word refurbished means just like new. Okay, and when you say just like new, and you can't claim it is new, then it is legally not right? Because then all this, in case of laptops, in which I was associated long back, electronic hardware, you will have a conflict with the manufacturers who are selling brand new items. So in fact, you will need their approval to put a sticker on the computer saying it's refurbished. So if you can basically go through that mindset of addressing refurbished, and so that means actually doing a certain investment into understanding the consumer behavior there. They want an experience which is just like purchasing the new. So at the end of the day, if you're able to give a new product, just like new product, but at a lower price, the value is perceived. Today the challenge most people are facing is, you don't get refurbished, you get second hand most of the time. There are many stores you go and you walk in and you say, I want a second hand mobile, second hand, and there are dime a dozen shops. But that refurbished is a journey that, a lot more investment has to happen, both in terms of education, mindsets, government regulations. Only when there is a certain critical mass, I see that really opening up. Otherwise, till such time, it's convenient purchase.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Now we move on and we'll try to understand how Ms. Anita is trying to link up the NGOs, sustainable business, and our traditional handicrafts. Can you throw some light on this dimension, madam? Sustainability, our art and handicrafts, and some sort of circular economy.
So I'll just talk about one of the experiences that I had many years ago, where I found in the newspaper an advertisement for an art exhibition that was all made with used materials. And I was very intrigued. I was a student back then, and I did attend that art exhibit. And I was really blown away. Like, there was an India map made, like you can visualize it as I describe it, an India map made with the old cassette, the cassette roll inside a tape, the tape roll. For most of this generation, I think they wouldn't have seen a cassette. And there was art created out of materials that were no more relevant, materials that would have been dumped into the landfills. And it was an aha moment for me, in fact, and that has stayed with me for a long time. And I think even now, there are some products that we sell at Club Artisan, which are really works of art, but they are upcycled, they are made from old materials. Like, we work with one of the craft clusters a women's cluster in Pondicherry, which makes stuff from newspaper, from old newspaper. And a lot of times people look at the product and they are wowed by it. So I think there is an opportunity there where it can, like upcycling, recycling, reuse can also be a work of art. And I think that's the space that we are in. We want to focus on aesthetics, but also in a very socially conscious, eco-friendly manner. And many of our products are made from upcycled materials. And it is also a source of livelihood for the people that we work with. That's what we do.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So, may I request Gunranjan to throw some light on his business model and how does it sustain the circular economy and some of the challenges which he has faced as a part of entrepreneur in handling those things.
Okay. Primarily, waste is something which we are generating every second. Okay? To the fact that even the breath that you leave is also carbon dioxide generated or left in the environment. To the point that in the morning you wake up, use water in the tap, that's waste generated. So nobody is less guilty of not being waste generator. Okay? Each one of us is. The biggest question is, how much can you reduce it with your conscience is a question. And to that extent is where we're looking at how we can impact this at household level, not at a society level. For society level, I think companies like Ramke are doing a great job, not only in India and few other countries abroad, but at a household level where you're able to sensitize people about segregation. The fundamental thing is to segregate wet and dry waste. Once you segregate that, what we do is to pick up the dry waste wherever we have access to, go ahead, do a very proper job of segregation, sorting and baling, and give it to empaneled recyclers. And the wet waste, at least we give you solutions within your society to be able to kind of do composting. There's a very large society, maybe look at a small compressed biogas kind of a setup. The challenge is this, the mindset that each one of us has, as he rightly put it, is a convenience mindset. Ab kaun kachra chhuega? वो अछूत चीज़ है. It's not something I would like to touch. But the reality is, every day in the morning you're touching it. You're going to the restroom, right? You're doing it. You are integral part of the waste management system, whether you like it or not. I'm talking very harshly. But why don't you take care of the food that you waste? Why don't you take care of the water that you're using? Why don't you at least switch off your lights? Why don't you at least go ahead and take care of basic stuff like not using your electricity unless required, or maybe a vehicle that is not required. The intention is to impact at an individual level. So that's the reason why one of our investee companies works in this space. And I also invested in a company which is, each one of you drinks cups from water, paper cups, right? It has enough and more plastic to help you have minimal amount of cancer cells grow in your system. To be very honest with you, every cup which is hot or very cold, you call the KFCs or McDonald's or anybody for that matter, Nescafes, God bless us, we are all heading towards that. One of the investee companies takes care of the fact that they do water-based coating. They don't do plastic-based coating. And that simple change, society doesn't want to adopt because it's more expensive. But being a pioneer in the sector, you sustain for the past 6-7 years, see how you can be able to work with marquee companies. So ITC came forward and said, we're going to take that 500-600 tons of paper you coat with water-based, we're going to promote it for you. Again, that goes back to each of our catering units. It goes back to restaurants. It goes back to coffee shops, where all of us, including institutions like ours, where water-based paper, plastic-based cups are being used. Now, how sensitive are you? How involved would you like to be? How you think it's important enough or not is a choice you make. We're all sitting here trying to do our bit. The business model is all about first making each of us more responsible. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir. Wow. Thank you for being harsh and scaring us. So, long back, the city of Hyderabad has taken an initiative of segregating the waste. In fact, the GHMC has given blue tubs and red tub, something. Okay, so unfortunately, people did not understand. Even today, I've seen people mix up everything. So did you face any such challenge while collecting this one? What were the challenges which you faced?
Friends, I can bet you one thing. If you go to one of their dump sites or come to one of our units, you can't stand for more than 2 minutes. If you stand for the third minute, I'm going to reward you. I'm giving an open challenge. I'll reward you if you stand for the third minute without having a mask. That's the reality. Today, all of us think that we're not doing it. I just saw 4 beautiful bins outside the washroom today on the 3rd floor. I go inside, the paper is thrown on the floor in the bathroom. We're doing it. You and I are doing it, my friends. And we are saying the economy has to be taken care of, the environment has to be taken care of somebody else. The challenge is the employees that we have and they have work with plastic covers, having urine, having every fecal matter. We had to work with all those very horrible situations. It looks nice. Maybe we both don't do it, but there are enough people, thousands of them who work under us are doing it. Because we are making that mistake. You even going for a leak on the roadside in that waste bin is also coming to us. Is collection not difficult? It's extremely difficult. Now, choice is I decide to clean the shit or that stuff. Whether you want to choose it or not is your choice. But if you want to make it in the first place, is something is a responsibility. And we better be responsible for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. In fact, now we have a very big player called Ramki, sir. Sir, I'd like to request you to throw some light on what Ramki does as a part of the segregation of waste, recycling, reusage.
Well, friends, we are one of the staunchest believers of circular economy. For me personally, the circle is the most beautiful figure in the world, or in the entire universe. In fact, you will be happy to know that God is compared to a circle. God is a circle whose center is everywhere and circumference nowhere. And this is by far the best definition of God. So, circular economy is very important. Professor Sridhar Raju mentioned about our responsibility to preserve and protect the planet Earth. So, you will be happy to note that Earth, E-A-R-T-H, Earth, and H-E-A-R-T, that is heart, are made up of the same 5 letters. Earth and heart are made up of the same 5 letters, and there is a hidden message in this coincidence. It's not just a coincidence. There is a message behind this, perhaps. The message is that, we should treat Earth as our heart. That's the reason why we should preserve and protect it. We should love it. I also told my colleagues in the Ramki group that sweat and waste are also made up of the same 5 letters. So if something is going as waste down the drain, what is going down the drain is our sweat, our effort, our labor. So we should not allow that to happen. That's our, corporate mission. And I'm also a director in one more Ramki group company called Ramki Estates and Farms Limited, REFL. Incidentally, they are the title sponsors of Startupedia 2025, this event. I think you must have met our group CFO, Mr. N.S. Rao, in the inaugural session. So at REFL, I'm not a civil engineer. I didn't know anything about construction before I was, taken on the board of this construction company. It builds, high-rise buildings and villas. So I told them, in the first board meeting, I told them, let's introduce a new scheme, something which other real estate companies are not doing. I think it's slowly taking shape now. I think we'll be going to announce that very soon. Yeah. Are you able to hear me clearly? Okay. So the scheme I suggested is, see, we have the scheme for exchange. If you have an old car, you go and exchange it with a new car. Isn't it? They will give you a good value for your old car. So exchange is accepted and you get the best reward. Then exchange bonus also is given to you. Similarly, our ladies go and exchange their jewelry, with leading jewelers. That's allowed. It's happening. So why not we exchange our old houses for new houses, old apartments for new apartments? It never happened before. But it's coming now. REFL is going to launch that scheme. If you have an old apartment, we will give you a new apartment in exchange. Okay? That's one thing. Another thing is, we also have decided to go for redevelopment. If you are living in an old, dilapidated apartment block with 1,000 SFT, not state-of-the-art facilities, we will redevelop the entire apartment, entire block. And for your 1,000 SFT, we will give you the latest apartment of 1,500 SFT. No extra cost. These are the kind of exchange schemes we are bringing forward. First time in the world. It's possible. It's going to make a big difference. Then one more thing. I'm a firm believer in exchange. Exchange creates value. And although I was a banker, I really want to abolish money. Money should be abolished, according to me. We should bring back the old barter system. Those days, the barter system was abolished. The reason was, it became cumbersome. Logistics weren't there. And the underlying principle of barter system is double coincidence of wants. I have something which you want and you have something which I want. That's what is called double coincidence of wants in economics. Barter is possible only when you have this double coincidence of wants. And as the society grew in size, creating that double coincidence, identifying was difficult. But today with the modern technology, it can be done. With computers, with all the social media and every other thing you have available and accessible to you, barter is possible. Barter on net is possible. So if something is not useful to you, you give it, put it on offer and let others offer what they want to give it in exchange. So barter is going to create abundance, according to me. I was the Dean of Srinidhi Institute of Science and Technology, and during that time we organized a barter day. And 1,200 students came up with their products for exchange. Fortunately or unfortunately, all 1,200 items were exchanged within the first hour itself. Okay? It was exchanged. 1,200 things which they didn't want, they got something of more value. So they got exchanged. So that there's so much potential, friends. If you are good at computers and if you can create a base for it, you can create technology, and I assure you, barter is going to create abundance. There is already abundance in the world, but it's all lying unused. Okay? So think of such ideas to give fillip to circular economy. There is already an abundance. We should only, bring it out. So this is what I very strongly feel. And you should look at, nothing is a waste. According to me, nothing in this world is a waste. Everything has a use. Every damn thing in this world is a use. Nothing is a garbage, nothing is a waste, and no individual is useless. Everyone has a talent. Everyone has a talent, we only have to identify. If we say someone is a waste fellow, although I would like to be called a waste fellow because I deal in waste management, so nobody in this world is a waste fellow because God doesn't create garbage. If we are calling somebody a waste fellow, we are blaming the God. That's not true. And I also tell my married friends, okay, I think some of you may be married here. So every day when you wake up, you look at your spouse with a new pair of eyes. Look at your spouse with a new pair of eyes. There lies the joy and happiness. So look at everything with that mindset. And you find abundance, you find happiness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Maybe I would have exchanged my flat with Ramki, but I don't have flat, so please excuse me. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for providing us an insight into Ramki. That's a nice thing. So I request Ms. Anita about the challenges that she faces when she takes bulk orders from corporate things, as how to package, how to minimize package, how to ensure that there is minimum usage of plastic, such things, ma'am.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the bigger challenges, like what Mr. Gunaranjan was talking about, consumption practices. Similar to individuals, I think it plagues corporates also in terms of, what they're used to. We're used to a certain thing. We're used to everything have a plastic wrapping. And that's how it's being given out as a gift, whether it's an employee gift or to a client or to whoever. So in corporate gifting particularly, I think the unboxing experience that you were talking about is also very important. And especially if we are like shipping it to multiple locations, then the product has to be intact as well, whatever is inside the packaging. So those are some of the challenges that we face. Cost is also a challenge. Usually, and it has, unless there is a perfectly scalable way to, make or manufacture eco-friendly alternative packaging, which I think now there is a lot of, there are a lot of innovations in the space, but the cost still tends to be a little higher than available plastic packaging, for example. So all of these challenges are definitely, a problem in terms of breaking through in the market, in terms of telling people that, no, let's use something alternative. Let's not go with the traditional, packaging, plastic packaging. So one of the things that we are doing, for example, is to address the unboxing experience through aesthetics. So what we do is, one of the initiatives we've taken is we take our traditional artisans' work, like whether it's a tribal art form, or it's a Gond art or a Pichwai art. What we do is we print that on the boxes, and then we don't put any other packaging or fillers inside. We just include the product. So the box itself can be reused. And the box looks so beautiful, people don't want to throw it. And we convince corporates not to put their logo on the top of the box. We put it at the back of the box, so that people will be encouraged to reuse. Because what happens is, if there's some logo, there is again the mindset of the receiver that, oh, this is their packaging, and they will throw it in the dustbin. So some of these things we are trying to address through small solutions, understanding the mindset of the receiver, understanding the mindset of the corporate, and seeing how we can work around it to kind of make a difference.
Give one round of applause. So now a small question to Subbarao Garu. Since he represents Hyderabad Angels, sir, I request you to, share a small success story about a startup which has come into the refurbishing industry and reusing industry. which has been accepted by people and which has become some sort of star in the startup world?
I wish I could, but there aren't really any such successes. I mean, there will be examples of Ramki which are driven by the vision and passion of the senior management there. But in the startup world, there have been many startups which have come and folded. I mean, in fact, to see something which has gone all the way and become a large success, I don't know. I'm not able to recollect anything. Okay, no, that's a loaded question. Okay, so let me try and answer that in uh, 4 minutes. That's okay? Okay. See, foremost, there has to be something called for a product idea or a service idea to be successful, a certain attractiveness of the market. Today, the refurbished or the recycle reuse industry is not very attractive in a conventional business sense. The issues are many, apart from regulation, non-support. All of you are MBA students here? Most of you are, right? So you know what is roughly India's population and in terms of number of households. If you see the actual amount of population that is there with a certain affluence and ability to purchase and who are actually creating all the waste in this country, I mean, that's about hardly some 50 million people, 50 to 60 million people. And you have about close to about 180 to 220 odd million people who are economically active, who are participating. They could be from the lower middle income, upper middle income and all. So there is a huge demand in terms of wanting to purchase many, many products, but at an affordable price. To address that kind of a market, you need to have a certain scale. Okay, and startups which are coming, many of them which have come, have not been able to go to that next level of scaling. Largely for various reasons. The cost structures don't support it, the regulation doesn't really facilitate it, the consumer demand is very stratified. At the higher end of the market, the sophistication of demand, as some of you would have studied in your marketing courses, I mean, and as what Gunjan was referring, nobody wants to take a second hand or deal with the waste kind of a stuff. I mean, use and throw, use and throw. In fact, the 50, 60 million people are generating all the waste. And a lot of it is actually an urban phenomena. If you go to small towns, it's not that big a deal. People are still mired in, their daily lifestyles, which are not very different from what it was 50, 60 years ago, even to date, except for the fact that electricity has come, water has come to a certain extent. So regulation, scalability, attractiveness, these are factors which are missing in that whole segment. So if somebody wants to come back with second-hand mobiles or pre-owned, whatever, whether it is computers, laptops, for which there is a huge market. India, the third largest import component in terms of forex is actually electronic items. We import almost $20 billion worth of computers, all these Dell, Lenovo's, HP, you name it, okay, everything that is coming in. And there is a need. But very sadly, I don't see any support really coming in from a government side, which basically says that, we will mandate reuse, refurbish in at least government institutions. Let me ask another follow-up question. All of you have laptops? Right. All of you have bought new laptops? Right? Has any of you thought at the end of the day that there is a possibility of getting a pre-owned or a refurbished laptop? I'll give you a contrast example in US. I mean, if I sit in a class like this, okay, at least 50% of the students will all be having pre-owned. Why do they have pre-owned? Because Amazon pre-owned, Best Buy, and you name it, some of those big companies, all these, especially electronics. I'm just talking about electronics. Waste management is another big opportunity there. I mean, they're all billion-dollar companies. How have they come up? Partly with regulation, partly with education awareness, and a certain clear, compelling value proposition that what you are buying is as good as new. Most of us want to purchase something, we want the best in the market, whatever our monies can buy. How many of us have really asked, what is best for me? See, there is a huge transition we need to make in that sense. So that's not happening. Even the lower middle class, upper middle class, aspirationally, everybody wants an iPhone 16, 15, whatever it is. But purchasing power wise, fine, you'll land up at a Mi or a Xiaomi or a Redmi, which is there anywhere from 5,000 to 8,000 bucks. But that's where the whole game is being played. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Yeah, maybe. I think next time you buy something, please ensure that it is pre-owned or refurbished.
I want to ask one more question to all of you. How many of you have, I'll wage a bet, you must be having some old laptop, mobile, which is lying in your home unused, dusted. Raise your hand who doesn't have it. Everybody has, you see. And it has just died and it is decayed, one lone exception, okay. But, I mean, this is the situation in 90% of the homes which have a certain affordability. So, just to make a point.
Thank you very much, sir. So take care of your, the second-hand things or the things which are lying in your home, waste, So, sir, I'll ask a question to Abdul Garu. Sir, how does your, biomining or landfilling things lead to circular economy and help the stakeholders in society?
Okay, I think Ramke is here. They are the best persons to answer these kind of waste management questions. But biomining and all these are part of the waste management thing. So biomining is a simple process. We do the mixed waste. So we get a lot of mixed waste. That's where the last option is the biomining. And then we separate sand, sludge, all whatever it is there, it goes to cement factory. They burn it and then use it for their combustion purposes. Simple, that's it. So if there is any waste left which is mixed and we are helpless, we send it to cement factories for the combustion thing. So there are some metals and everything which comes in the process, we separate whatever it's possible, but that's the least helplessness is what in the waste management sector is there. So these beautiful flowers are again wrapped in plastic. So, so it takes a lot of time for them to decompose and everything. So, and now where should I put this? It's a dry waste. Which bin should I put this in? Red, green, or blue bin? So both are dry, and one is fresh, and another is the plastic one. So that's a possibility of awareness and how we segregate. It's a basic thing. Sometimes we also don't know where to. We just burn it. So that's how the system. That's how we all are grown up. That's how things gonna happen in next 5-6 years also, unless there are strong rules, regulations, process, everything, policies coming in. Or it should be a habit. As a habit, it should start. So in childhood, we used to keep the pencil waste also in the books. And some trees telling that it will reproduce the anomalies and all other stuff, right? So we used to do those kind of things. Now we don't do. We take a pen in the morning in office. By the time at the end of the day, I don't find my pen. Next day, I pick up another pen. Because we are in office, we have bulk of pens there. Okay, let's take another pen. We don't have pen. So then I started buying pens for myself. Then I thought, okay, my pen, I put 100 rupees. Where is my 100 rupees? Okay, so if it's like 3 rupees pen, 5 rupees pen, 10 rupees pen, and it's not ours. And there is a habit. Generally, when you give pen to anyone, don't give with cap. Take cap, put the cap with you, give the pen to them. They can't take the pen, and you can't keep the cap. So they'll find you, give the pen to you. So that's a basic thing we can start with. Okay, simple things. When you buy, when you invest your time, your money, anything, then you own something, then it will become a habit kind of thing. So we used to make files also for all these conferences. So we stopped using plastic any possible way. So, and paper is also, again, it's recyclable, but it's second trees and all this. So it's a habit kind of thing, basic habit.
Thank you very much, sir. Nice. It's a habit actually. It's a habit that is included right from childhood. When myself and my daughter go to a shop, that fellow will inadvertently give that plastic cover. My daughter says no. That's how you should say. Okay. So we always carry a cloth bag so that we don't use plastic covers. And sir, as you said, maybe as a training coordinator, I'll ensure that the bouquets are not given to the panelists from tomorrow onwards, which are covered, draped in, plastic covers, the tape, vagaira, vagaira. Okay, we'll ensure that, sir. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay. Now, I have one question to Gunranjan, sir. Sir, what you said is absolutely right, actually. Now, do you see any relationship between people becoming rich in the sense an affluent society and the increasing garbage or usage of resources? Any relationship?
It's a very pertinent question. It's direct and it's multifold, both. The simple fact is we've been trained to be more consumeristic for a simple reason that economics wants it to be so or capitalists wants it to be so. Invariably, the churn of money or the movement of goods and therefore the consumerism of individuals is how the whole global economics works. And the most powerful, I think, lever for this is transportation, which you're not knowing, but the ubiquitous thing that's happening is transportation. That transportation is running on basis called crude oil. That crude oil is also the same plastic. In fact, crude oil, plastic comes from a waste called naphtha, as a chemical engineer. So naphtha was just a byproduct in the 1940s and 50s and said, what do we do with this? And chemical engineers sat down in the US and said, let's figure out some product that comes out of it. And the whole concept of polymer science began, and that's where polymers came in from monomers and the concept of plastic evolved. Since then, until now, we have produced enough plastic to wrap the earth at least 1 lakh times in the last 70 years. And whether we like it or not, in every walk of our lives, including our stomachs, there's plastic. The current reality is because how many of you take Swiggy and Zomato orders? So there's some microplastic coming into our stomachs. Every parcel of it, there's plastic coming into to us or into us. So now the question to ask is how sensitive we are. So whether you're calling affluent or not, sir, access to goods and services is affluence. It is never about how much money we have. So the question to ask is, are you willing enough to make better choices? Today, even the camera that is shooting us or the mic that we're holding or even the plastic, everything is plastic, sir. So you cannot live without it. But can we make better choices? So direct correlation, abundance of plastic, deep impact, and how much ever Abdul works, I work, or he works, we will still only solve 2% of the world problem, at best in our lifetime. Maybe 1%. 99% of the problem is still right in front of us. Thank you.
Don't create waste, is what you're saying. Basically.
In fact, as you write, don't try to minimize the waste. You can't stop creating waste, Maddie.
Reduce.
Yeah, that's it. That's the purpose of the event, right? How do you reuse and reduce? Because recycling today is a very expensive thing. Just to give a simple example, the plastic bottle manufacturing, the stuff takes about 2.5 liters of water. Because I'm an industry, I can tell you. In order to make a recycled bottle, I use 7.5 liters of water. In the name of recycling, I use 3.5 times more water. The question, can we carry our own bottle? It's a simple question. And thanks to stuff like Zudio, the Tata brand, I'm not being against them, it's called fast fashion. Nobody wants to wear the same t-shirt or jeans the next month. And it's available at $9.99, $5.99, and $19.99 for all the youth. So how do you avoid it? So affluence is direct access to purchase thanks to the crate economy. The finance guys ensured it.
See, while consumerism will increase, people like variety. There are cases in advanced countries, for example, France, US, where the amount of apparel is like 10 times more than what we have. They are reusing it. I mean, the effort is there to produce recycled fabrics, recycled shoes. Like Nikes come out with low and low cost shoes, for example, which is purely made out of plastic. That journey has to happen, you see, in a big way. And it needs to get endorsed and accepted also here in India. There is no shame in buying a refurbished product. As simple as that. I mean, that's it.
Maybe, as I said, the cultural differences part.
I'll just give a simple insight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
I've lived in Africa for about 7.5 years, okay? Every African takes pride in buying the t-shirt that comes from America and Europe. Because he can't afford to buy that Nike or so-called Adidas or that so-called Great Good t-shirts. It's actually the official dump site of the world. Huh? I've lived across 16 countries there worked in 16 countries. Every single country, the Grand Marché or the big market, as I say in French or English, everybody is seeking for the next lot of container coming with those clothes and shoes. Even undergarments as well, they're so happy wearing Calvin Klein's and everything because they're second hand. So if we are becoming more consumeristic, there's a dump yard getting prepared somewhere else in the world.
Very, very true. Very, very true. The access part, okay? Single click, you get anything on Swiggy and Zomato. And some part of plastic goes into your stomach. Good, good, nice. Okay, sir, so what do you suggest, the young students, to how to minimize this wastage part?
It's a personal choice in every step of your way, sir. It's just that I said in the beginning, the impact is about whether you as an individual want to change, I as an individual want to change, that's it. Make that little bit of conscious choice, little bit. Maybe that 1%.
Yeah, I just want to add to that though. It's just like how you said about your daughter says no to the plastic bag. I think this generation, and especially students today, they are a lot more conscious than our generation or the generation before, because I think they have knowledge of this problem from a very early age, which I don't think we had at some point. So in some sense, I think there is hope that better choices will be made in the future. So I don't think it's completely hopeless. It's just that the better choices need to be made, and the more consciousness there is in every aspect of life, those choices will be made.
Nice. So friends, be conscious when you go to a shop, when you're buying something, when you're giving a gift, please ensure that, as sir said, 1 lakh times the planet can be wrapped. Imagine, what is 1 lakh times? The entire planet. And we are going to live on that planet for generations together. Imagine. Okay? So we are creating that. So please become more conscious about your choices. Okay? Be it usage of power, be it usage of water. Okay? Please be conscious and make others conscious in your home. Right? That's always good. That's always good. When my wife opens the tap, the water gushes out of water. I say, thoda kam karo na. Simple. Okay? So don't generate too much waste. Minimize as much as possible. Sir, what do you suggest the young entrepreneurs, whether they should get into this sector called recycle and reuse, or if they enter, how should they enter?
Oh, sure. I mean, foremost, it's a very noble thing for those who really want to do something, transformative. All of you want to grow up, solve problems? I'm sure, right? Society's problems, business problems, marketing problems, finance problems, right? All of you will be solving some problems, I hope. Some of you, if you feel passionate about solving social problems like this, and waste is a very big problem. And from what little I've understood is not many have jumped with passion because not many have seen the big opportunity also that is there. In fact, the most successful people in waste around the world, some of them are very, very rich, billionaire varieties. Okay, so money is not the issue. You can make money. There is tremendous amount of gold in waste. But take an opportunity, seize one of the problems, be it to do with fabrics, be it to do with plastics, be it to do with waste that is, coming out of food. You'll have to think through and start small somewhere to say, can I do something about it? Can I create a small, you know, uh, idea to basically solve this problem? Maybe it's a very localized idea, but that's how you'll take it up. I mean, once it works, at least in your neighborhood, see if you can kind of see if you can make it work into your colony. You will get support. I can tell you so much for ideas like this, at least from your communities. But you will have to fight it all the way through. And till you get scale, the regulation won't really come and do something, which is unique and wonderful. All of us talked about water bottles. 25, 30 years ago, nobody used to drink out of these water bottles because some of us initially, when it came, thought this was very snobbish. Okay.
History was told that if you shut down your plant,
Exactly.
people will not buy water.
But then, how did it become something like a thing on which you see on every bus stand, station, everyone, right? Even beggars, sometimes you see them with these water bottles. The only reason it's happened because at the end of the day, it just got accepted. Somebody pushed. But of course, the initial support was coming through MNCs. In this particular case of waste, I mean, it's going to be one uphill journey, but it's worth it. Anybody who wants to take it up, fight it out, it's worth it. It's not something which is not doable, but yeah, it's just a bigger mountain to climb than joining an MNC and stuff like which is what guys like us did. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Friends, make a yes. Yes, sir, please.
Friends, I know some of you must be doing marketing specialization, marketing. Marketing was my specialization. So when I went for a job in IDBI, the selection committee asked, with your specialization is marketing, why do you want to come and join a bank? I told the selection committee, sir, with due respect to all of you, I strongly believe that IDBI is a marketing organization. You are marketing your finances, you are marketing your schemes, you are marketing your services. So I very much fit in here. IDBI is a marketing organization. This answer of mine impressed the chairman of the selection committee, who specially highlighted this to the chairman of IDBI. So from then on, IDBI started saying that we are a marketing organization. Every organization is a marketing organization. IP is a marketing organization. You may think that it's a B school, educational institution, but it's a marketing organization. So for those of you who are interested in marketing, let me give you a very interesting a tool for marketing research. And that is what is called dustbin audit. You go and audit a dustbin. Early in the morning, before rag pickers come there, you have to go and check out what is there in the dustbin. Then you will know what people are buying. If you really want to know what people are buying, the dustbin audit is the best tool. Please do that. Okay? You don't have to wear your, suit and boot, whatever dress, it's up to you. You want to wear, but go to the dustbin. Okay? Dustbin audit. And we were talking about the plastics. My request to all of you is, please give a natural smile. Never ever give a plastic smile. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. One big round of applause to all the panel members for sharing their valuable thoughts. I wish them very good luck in all their efforts to help the circular economy. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Now, we'll take it. Thank you.
I request Sridhar Raj sir to please present all the delegates with the memento.
We sincerely We sincerely appreciate your time and the wisdom you have shared with us today. Your perspectives have not only informed us but also inspired us to think bigger and smarter about global markets and investments. Thank you, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Shopping is not what is used to be, right? From AI-powered recommendations to seamless digital experiences, Indian startups are transforming the way we shop, make it smarter, faster, and more intuitive than ever before. But have you wondered about how to build an AI startup, right? It's always been always our keen observation or keen question about ourselves, everyone asking about how to build a startup using an AI. So we have the person here itself. To decode this revolution of AI and how to build a startup using AI, we have with us Mr. Jaya Bharadwaj, founder and CEO of Jolly AI, a visionary entrepreneur revolutionizing AI-powered solutions for photographers. Now I welcome Mr. Jaya Bharadwaj into the house. I request ESL coordinator Vidhi to present him a bouquet. As the founder and CEO of Jolly AI, Jaya Bharadwaj is transforming photography workflows with AI-powered automation. With over a decade of experience in AI, computer vision, and product innovation, he has worked across healthcare, banking, IoT, and e-governance. His work has earned global recognition, including the ASCO International Innovation Grant. A true innovator at heart, Mr. Jaya Bharadwaj brings a wealth of knowledge in AI, computer vision, and product development, helping businesses harness the technology for a real life and real world impact. Now, I welcome to speak Mr. Bharadwaj on this occasion. Please give him and welcome him with a huge round of applause.
Hello. Am I audible? Great. Thank you so much for having me here. And really, when I heard of this opportunity to come share my experiences, I was very excited. And apparently, this is the 11th edition of the program. And many congratulations to the IPE team and all the coordinators on this. Okay, so my talk, like mostly I've rather than being about like how to build, because it's something that I'm still learning myself. But I'm here to share my experiences on building startups. Okay. Hello? Yeah. Is this better? Okay. So rather than being about how to build startup, which is something that I'm still learning, but I'm here to share my experiences building multiple startups. Over almost 10 years, I've been working in tech, and I'll share my journey. So this session, I've wanted it to be more about an hour-long discussion or my journey through how we can keep impacting or how we can innovate multiple solutions into the world. So a bit about myself. I did about first startup was when I was 16 years. And then this was related to operating systems. Linux was a big thing. And then I thought we'll build, there were so many operating systems like XP, Vista, but people are not using Linux much in India. So this was way back in 2008, 2009. And from then on, then I studied computer science at Purdue University. Then halfway, I dropped out, came back to India again. And I've been working on tech, and AI was booming field. And since then, I've been working in AI-related startups, and I've been working on multiple products across domains. So the current startup, it's called Jolly AI. And what we do is generally whenever photographers or people take pictures or videos, later it's a manual process for us to select what's a good photo, what's a bad photo, and stuff like that. So there are like in situations like events, there are 10,000, 20,000 photos that people capture. So our software automatically selects the top photos, edits them, and then delivers it to people. So that way we want to automate how photographers kind of do their work. So they are more focused on clicking pictures, and the very next day the photos can be delivered. And we use a lot of AI to do this because it's quite a challenging task for software to teach like which photo is good, which photo is not good, how the framing is, and stuff like that. So yeah, like that's a brief about me. Like so far through Jolly AI, we've raised some capital through government schemes, and we've had a pretty like good response from the market. And then we've it's getting ready for a public release, and there's a long journey ahead for us. So before I get deeper into the next topics, I wanted to know what are your doubts from the audience? Are there any questions or something that you would like to know about startups, or what do you think generally, or like something that you're stuck with, or something that I could cover? Quick, like 3-4 minutes, like 5 to 6 questions, and then I'll try to incorporate them into my talk. Yeah, just feel free. Like, it's completely fine. Have you thought of doing a startup, or how many of you would want to do startups? That's great. Yes, really great talk, sir, earlier. So, and from those people, like for the remaining people, any questions? Yeah. Yes, how to pitch. Great, how to pitch. Next. Oh. Government grants, fine. Next. Again, it's, yeah. Okay, for the competition and how these are, fine. Next. How to select mentors, great. Go ahead, please. Okay, so he has asked, any government schemes? Fine. Any more questions? Huh? Delegation in team? Yeah, how to form a team and then how to work in a team. Yes, okay. Any more questions? Okay. How to market? Great. All right, so I think any further questions, just feel free to stop me in between and then ask. But broadly, I got the sense of what are the questions, whether it is how to come up with an idea, and then afterwards, how do we fund ourselves? Are there any government schemes? And then afterwards, how do we build a team? And how do we function as a team? And next thing is, predominantly these will be focused on tech-based ventures, because that's mostly what I have experience in. And in AI also, like how the competition is, like in terms of like. Oh, okay. So great. So do we need team, or like how can we leverage existing AI technologies to build things? Fine. Okay. So first we'll try to address like how the idea, or like generally like how compared to like previous companies and what the existing companies are. So if we see in the broad sense, when we are selecting a business, it's what is the kind of problem, or like someone that a convenience factor, how are we bringing convenience to everyday user? And then from then on, how can we, who is the person who is going to use it? And then how can we leverage it for across the world, whether it is billion users or million users, like who are our target? So if we think about examples like Facebook, it's a social networking application, or a YouTube. And then the challenge was how to upload videos online, how to stream. And then across 5 billion, 6 billion people face the same problem. And then that's what YouTube targeted, and then went global. So in a similar fashion, like, so when we are selecting ideas in the AI era, most of the times, if we see like earlier, the way I think of businesses or startups were before computers, the kind of services that people bought were one-time purchases. So we purchase, so for instance, a book, or like something like an ebook, or these kind of licenses. They are always like one time we purchase and then done. Next came the software as service kind of, or the yearly subscription kind of a model, wherein people don't buy for the sake of like purchasing one time, but they have to keep on upgrading the license. And that's how the Microsoft or any network license, they give the hardware, but the licenses are upgraded every year. So in a similar fashion, next came the SaaS wave. So we have to think like from 1990s to 2000 to where we are right now, how the packaging or the pricing has been evolving over time. So now, then came the SaaS revolution this last 10 years, 15 years, wherein it's per individual or per seat. So earlier from selling the software only one time to where we are now, it's mostly like doing sales year on year. And then from year on year, now it's per user. If 10 people are using a piece of software, monthly 10 people have to purchase it. So what used to be like a 100 rupees or 1,000 rupees product, one-time purchase, now has become like 1,000 rupees per month. And that's close to 12,000 monthly, yearly kind of a subscription fees which we subscribe to. So now when we are thinking about AI, where we see or where we are betting like on is the future economy, or like now the present trend is from SaaS to APIs. And the present trend is more like you pay per request. So if you see ChatGPT or things like that, it's like how much, we don't know what the task is, but it's based on a token. Every word or every single compute that a computer does, there's a price for it. And in Jolly AI's case, or like in our case, like what we see that this trend going in future or next 4 years, 5 years, what we see is there's going to be automation per task level kind. So if people were, as humans, we were getting paid or like to do certain X amount of money, the software is going to replace it with a certain factor of it, like a fraction of it, like 1/3 the cost. Hello? Yeah. So things like, for us, like when we look at healthcare sector, nurses, or the cost to manage like a certain patient and how much it goes to for managing 4 nurses or 5 nurses in the ICU versus the cost drastically comes down by automating it. So with the help of AI or technology, first time investment, and then the cost is like for what takes like 20,000 for humans. With AI, it actually gets fractioned like to 2,000 or 1,000 rupees. So that's pretty much like how we see the trajectory of like AI pricing per task based. And so the next wave of ideas which get automated are like extremely mundane tasks which we don't enjoy doing. Those are the ones which get automated. And those are the kind of jobs which will be performed by the AI. So in this case of healthcare, it could be that constant checking, constant verification. And in terms of photography or like things, it could be like that repetitive task of mundanely like sitting through 10,000 photos, 20,000 photos. So once we have things like that, then a lot of works can be automated. Okay. So now when we look at ideas like that, how we are going to build it, and the journey of, let's say we narrowed down on a very boring task, something that is mundane, and now we want to build a startup around it. And we are convinced that a lot of market, like, so typically the numbers for even the startups will be like, there are 2 lakh people or 3 lakh people doing a certain occupation. And then from then on, like how by automating, either we augment with extra productivity, how much will we gain, ease of doing businesses. So these kind of calculations go into a different AI startup. So that's pretty much the premise of like how these generation of startups are different from the previous generation of startups, and where we see the products or like how the evolution is going to happen. And another big trend we see is like even an ordinary person will be able to accomplish levels or the output of very experienced person. So like some things like what takes a person to master like let's say 10 years, and it could be simple thing like diagnosing scanned images, right? A doctor needs to spend like 10 or 5 years or 6 years to actually master and interpret the diagnostic reports. But with the help of new diagnosing tools, we are seeing that even an ordinary, like a fresher or like someone from fresh out of college, like a fresh doctor, is able to like start giving out results, and with the help of AI, is actually able to diagnose patients in a much better way. So these are few new opportunities that we are seeing in this next 5 or 10 years. And it's extremely exciting space to be in. So that's my like on where or like how these ideas or the problem statements are being positioned. So now comes how do we position, or like I think this roughly explains on a few questions related to like how do we pitch this problem, or like how do we present this solutions to investors, or like how are we raising capital, things like that. So always it's like the pitch formats are given like in 2-minute conversations, which are like the elevator pitches. And they have to cover things like what is the problem you are trying to solve, what is the solution, how large of a market that you want to address, and then where a brief about your team, and then afterwards, where do you see this solution going? What is the future growth trajectory of this thing? And it takes a lot of effort for us to pack all this information and briefly explain it to people. So people get that right away and get the sense like, okay, like if I'm partnering with the startup, either through capital or through joining as a teammate, then there will be a huge growth trajectory. So actually it's a very interesting job to sit and think what is the problem that we are working on, and then how can I explain it better so people get it right away. And this comes with a lot of practice, and also it's like speaking to multiple people. So then like we are able to articulate the idea better. There's like, in the initial days, like it used to be very difficult, like even 10 minutes, what is the right thing that people are getting. To like as and when we are slowly progressing, making progress on the idea, then afterwards, we get an insight talking to our customers. Who are we solving this problem to? Whom are we like actually addressing this need for? And in this case, like we are seeing mostly with the help of AI, 2 parties are getting help. So one is the person who is doing extremely mundane task, and then also the client who is getting benefited from the person's service. So it's actually both parties that are 2 segments of customers that AI startups are actually addressing. So in case like a healthcare startup, or in our case like the photographers. So even though we position ourselves to the first, our customer as the photographers, the photographers' clients also get benefited from it. And in the same way, if in the hospital case, if we are thinking that we are first addressing the doctors or the hospitals to actually get the diagnosis, the patient's overall healthcare is also getting improved, and the quality of life of the patient is also increasing. So in a similar manner, like it could be any sector we pick. For typical AI startups, we are seeing that 2 segments of customers are actually getting benefited. And that loop also has to be kept at the time of pitch. So that has also to be communicated. Like, what is the benefit for the end user, while who is the benefiting from the first go. So that's one thing. And then the next thing is about like how, so you got an idea, and let's say we fix on a particular problem, and we want to do this for a long time to actually build this solution. So in this sense, like for financing it, what are the kind of features that are available? Right now, there are many schemes from government is also giving a lot of push. So in government, there are like these two industries. One is like typically we fall for a lot of tech startups. MIT is one, Ministry of Information, Electronics and Information Technology. And the other one is the DPIIT. Both have two different programs. So one is the, from MIT side, there are like multiple scales of from idea to different stream, like so there is something like idea stage. If we are looking at the journey of a startup, there is idea stage, then there is product building, and then we have scale up, and then afterwards maturity. So every grant, or like there are different multiple funding opportunities for each and every batch, or like the kind of phase which we are in. So first stage, when we have an idea, the best institutions or the best kind of capital that we can raise is typically right now through MIT. The fundings range from 7 lakhs to 15 lakh rupees. So, and these can be like just with a PowerPoint or a pitch deck, we are able to get small idea. And then this idea can be communicated through any, so the government actually gives out the fund through institutions, colleges. So there are, we've got IIIT Hyderabad, in Hyderabad, there is T-Hub, there is ISP, IPE also might be having few funds. So then the fund gets distributed to these institutions, and through these institutions, startup get the capital. And one of the benefit from getting this capital through institutions is they actually handhold a lot of startups in the initial idea stages also. So there are things like how the critical things at the time of idea are like, how do you find the first customer? How do you validate the idea? And things like how, like what are the first initial challenges? So when we have a idea, like there could be a lot of times the technical challenge. Like if in case of YouTube, it could have been like, how do we stream millions of videos in one go? So there needs a small innovation or a technical breakthrough there. And during the idea phase or prototype phase, it's the time when we need that small capital and more amount of brains and guidance from the institutions to help us crack that problem. So once the technical breakthrough is done, next comes the from idea to actually giving it to a product shape. And this typically works, right? So when we started off at Jolly AI, the first thing was, will AI even be able to work on photo selection? And things like how can we train? Because it's a very complex thing. The expressions are different. People's micro expressions like eyes are blinking, and it doesn't understand like what are entry shots, what is the framing rules, things like that. But then, so the breakthrough happens like when the neural networks come into picture, and then the computer vision is able to start understanding like who is the subject and things like that. So once we had a small prototype, which typically takes about a month, 2 months, and then once the prototype is done, then now you want to start talking to more customers. Is this a beneficial solution? And how big is the market? Like how many customers can we find? So in that scenario, like then we end up starting like talking to more people with this initial prototype, and you fix on and start understanding what are the real pain points. Why are people not using these things? Is there any existing solution, and what are the shortcomings of the existing solutions? All these we start understanding, and then start developing our idea into much more product shape. So to give a brief example also, like for example of, again, YouTube, the first example is like how do we stream these videos. Once it's done, for a product to be taking place, we have to start understanding like the user signups, permissions, and then how do we get the roles of different people, and then how quickly is it comments, so the engagement is happening, and all these kind of features keep getting added on. So it's a full-fledged product at the end of the day. I mean, like one close analogy to the construction industry we can think of is like, first we are doing a sanity check on whether we can build a high-rise or not. And then after, once we are sure, we can't just give to our customers just one rooftop and then ask customers to inhabit. So for people to inhabit. So we need like all the colors, wall, furnishings, different furniture, that whole planning. So these are two different phases of, again, the startup or the pre-product journey. So first is the idea, like how then the idea gets validated. And then once the idea is validated, how can we build this into a product? And what are the features that we have to include in the product? Okay, so far clear? Okay. Is it like a steady monologue that's going on? Yeah, sir. Yes. So a lot of times what happens is in the previous jobs, like for me personally, like what happened was like I've been working through and through on like multiple products in different domains. So with few people, like they share a lot of insight. And once we know that that insight is actually like helping us on expanding our view of how we've been doing and improving us, that's a sign of a good mentor. And then actually scheduling further calls, steadily like taking time to constantly stay in touch, means like periodically staying in touch. That actually helps. And and there for a few of my mentors, how I found means like in college, the teachers that I really connected to and who would encourage me. In fact, like for one startup, I shared with one of my teachers, like this is the idea that I want to work on. And he'd actually like coordinated with another teacher in the campus to schedule a meeting. And then they made a list of all the items that I need to do. And they got me in touch with like another IP lawyer. And then next, like, got me initial connects on how to take the next step. So things like that. And then afterwards, from then on, it's a small journey on like them sharing their experiences with already like someone who's already built something and they've seen it, who are 10 years, 15 years ahead of you. And they are sharing what common pitfalls or mistakes that they did, and they are able to share that knowledge with you. So things like that. And that could actually save a lot of time for us and give us insight. Yeah, and it's good to have a variety of domains and expertise in getting mentorship also. Like we have to understand like where we are lacking. So it could be either in the technology when we are building. It could be like we are lacking in, let's say, marketing or business administrative tasks or finance. And when we are dealing with startup, there are like, we'll think that we are called as a tech startup, but and focus on tech. But actually, if we think about it, we'll end up doing a lot of things, almost every single thing, right? From doing accounts, finance, IP, sales, marketing, and then customer acquisitions, and then attending calls, support. So so for every single person, there are like so many facets that we'll just constantly be doing. And so that's why it's like we have to have that knowledge. And colleges stop at certain degree, but we have to constantly keep on improving ourselves, learning from our different industry experts, our peers, mentors, so things like that. Yeah. So, and so that's for the coming to the funding, right? Like I was talking about like how the idea stage and then growth, like product stage, and then afterwards scale stage. So for a typical startup too, there are like the requirements of fund also change from stage wise to stage wise. When we are at an idea stage and we want to crack a prototype, at that time it is like mostly like 2 programmers or 3 programmers we want to experiment. And the infrastructure costs are also like literally 2 laptops and then like or a couple of laptops, and then like and it's our time to spend on it and then like come up with a solution whether this can work or not. So keeping that in mind, there are these schemes like METI prototype grant, which are like 7 lakhs of money that grant form, and that the incubators give or accelerators. So, and then there is also like, let's say you're the first time entrepreneur, there is another program called EIR, Entrepreneur in Resident Programs. So I encourage like people who are been wanting to do entrepreneurship and want more support from the ecosystem, then applying to an EIR program actually helps a lot. So this EIR program, what colleges do is they probably provide 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs of stipend kind of a money, and then it's spread across monthly cost. And then every month on month, and the college also supports people with industry expertise and people like that to actually help them work on that, refine their idea. So EIR is a first starting step, then comes a prototype. And now once the startup is ready, they want like about 25 lakhs to 50 lakhs. Then comes this Startupedia seed fund scheme. Again, another great scheme like for initial founders or like for the first initial few months. So there, once we have an idea and initial customer validation is ready, we want to build the product. And product we thought is like, for the core concept, now we are giving out like a full form. So for that stage, we need 10 people, 15, like over a period of time, 6 people, 10 people. For that, typical funding from the government schemes are like 50 lakhs, up to 50 lakhs they provide, depending on which sector you are in. It could be in electronics, then it's a different capital. And that also, we have to understand there are 2 forms of funding opportunities. One is like, actually multiple are there. As a founder, we have, when we register or start a company, the exchange that we have or the commodity that we exchange is the equity or the company shares. So when we start off, it could be like the paid up capital. Have you guys gone through the companies? Hello? Yeah. Company shares, stock option pools. I think in your curriculum, like they would have covered. So when we start off, suppose, when we start off, like there are, as a founder, we have one thing we can actually exchange for to raise capital is the company shares. And and this shares keeps on, the value of shares keeps increasing over a period of time. From when we start off, it could be as simple as 10 rupees or 100 rupees. So right now we can register a company with 500 rupees or even 1,000 rupees of paid up capital. And we can distribute like how many shares we have. And that shares are what we give exchange for the capital we take into the company. Okay, so, and then so at every point, like whenever we are taking capital for the improvement of business, we are giving these shares in exchange. So there are multiple things, like we said. One is for grant, and in grant usually there are no caveats, no need to exchange. This is government helping out and supporting startups to work on their idea. So at the early stage, we don't have to even register a company or so. And then this is like initial capital. And actually Ashutosh here is heading one of the, is working with IIIT Hyderabad incubator, CIE. It's one of the great, yeah. So if you are seeking capital or things like for your early idea stage, CIE is one, and like that, other incubators are there, like few for T-Hub, and so multiple stages, okay? So that's one way of taking capital. And the other one is, like, let's say you graduate from idea and you got a product. So at that point, venture capital comes into that picture. So the way this venture capital works is they pull in money from different investors. And investors could be like, let's say we have a surplus capital like about 25 lakhs or 1 crore. Rather than individually investing in different products, they give it to the investment firms. And investors also, there are multiple levels of investors. So there are called angel investors, and then we got venture capitalists, then we got private equity, and then we can actually raise capital from public also. So there are like different grades of investment. And then if we want to choose, banks are also another source of investment through debt-based funding. So different kinds of funding instruments are there. I highly recommend suggesting like going for the initial, when you got an idea, going through grants route, and then Startupedia Seed Fund is one scheme. And then like Mighty has one more program called Scale Up and Samrid. So different kind of schemes are there. So through government and grants program is one. Next comes the angel investors. So if you are clear that the product is proven and you want to take it to market, then angel investment is your first stop. And then once we have a product and initial traction of like one city, two cities, and we want to expand it to like across India, like globally. At that point, we want 100 crore, 200 crore kind of fund. Then typically like this venture capitals come into picture. And then from there on, like, so it's like, so the initial buckets, if you think about it, up until 10 lakhs, grants are available. 25, 50 lakhs or like 70 lakhs to 1 crore, government helps you with in the form of convertible debentures through accelerators. 1 crore to like 20 crores or 80 crores kind of capital, then we got venture capital. 80 crore, 100 crore plus, then we have private equity kind of players. And everywhere the fundamentals are like pretty much same. Like in like how banks rotate money based on our deposits, like based on our savings bank, like the money gets circulated and interest is paid. In the similar fashion, venture capital is an alternative, another kind of investment arm, wherein like they promise after every fund has 7 years, 10-year period. And then after 10 years, they have to return like 3x, 4x higher than a bank interest rate or like investing in land. So that's why that's the motivation for a lot of people to give money to venture capital. And that because venture capital invests in 100 startups, 200 startups. So one startup succeeds, goes to IPO and their valuation increases, then it becomes a big, that covers the cost or losses across all the 100 remaining startups. So that's for the funding. And I think next is like, how are we going to build the team, and how can we leverage AI also on like how to optimize the teammates and things like that. Okay. So am I clear so far? Like, okay. And any further questions on the fundings or like choosing idea, products, or things like that? Okay. So I think for us, like when we started off compared to the tech before these LLMs, right? One of the big things since May 2024, like last year, we are seeing is programming is no more a week's job or like a month's job. Earlier, back in 1990s, when I mean like 2000s, when I was first initially programming, we didn't have Stack Overflow, nothing. We used to actually look at manuals in the terminal, and then afterwards see like, okay, this is the library, and then import it, and then if we are stuck, we would be stuck until some experience. We would ask our peers, teachers, or like some seniors to help us debug the program. And then came this Stack Overflow, wherein we'd ask questions, and from 1990s, 2000s, that whole boom of Stack Overflow started coming. So anytime there was a problem, other people would ask the question, and suddenly the responses were there. So the people started jokingly referring to all programmers like, oh, you guys are only doing Google and copy pasting. So, and that was a great thing. And now fast forward like another 20 years down the line, all these questions are now fed into this large LLMs. And these large language models are now able to respond to our, not only respond to our questions, but also write code very well. So, and yeah, and this is where a lot of interesting things have happened. So nowadays, like for a lot of tech startups, like we stopped programming from day one. And we got this idea or thought process that start imagining how the product or the experience will be from day one. So start making screens or work with the designer, your product expertise on how the end goal will be first. And then afterwards, then you start looking at, okay, now, for instance, like it could be automation of, like a banking software, something with, so now start working on like what will be the end state, who are the users, and start imagining that like there are going to be millions of users who are going to use the application. So then what are the kind of interfaces and what is the experience that we'll build into the application? Start working from there. And once we have that flow, right, and then look at technical people. So then you can actually start slowly identifying your technology, and you can start planning like who are the experienced people who can actually help you with the building the tool and things like that. So this is like one of an opinionated answer, but stop looking for tech people from day one. Rather, start imagining that you already have a great working product and start building a product of your own. It could be on paper, designing the buttons, clicks, interfaces, how will the users interact with it, what is the value of it, and then start looking for, start building tech. And typically nowadays the tech has decreased from years to like 1 week or 10 days development cycles. So use a lot of these LLMs, and the modules can be broken down and built. So yeah. And so that's my take on teams also. So first get the teams who, and the startups are like a very iterative process. So it could be like from idea to all the way till scale up. It could range from 3 years, or it could be like it can happen in like 6 months, 3 years, or even 5 to 6 years. So have a team which can actually like help you throughout different phases, different ideologies, and start working accordingly on that step. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bharadwaj. Thank you for your insightful and inspiring words, and we truly appreciate your knowledge that you have shared with us today. Thank you so much. Now I request Chair POC Kamal to present him with a with a memento.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kamal. Thank you, Bharadwaj. And thanks to all the audience. Everybody here in the hall have refreshments outside towards my right. Have the refreshments. And to all the participants, this is important. Note that please check your WhatsApp groups in which you are added as a participant, right? You have a mentoring session. You have been allotted along with the group room numbers and the group names as well. Please check your WhatsApp groups. This is only for the participants for tomorrow. You'll be having a mentoring